In this week's TFU Friday, there's a viewer competition. Spot which story is made up. Actually, that's a trick. They're all real. The world really is this totally fucked up. G'day viewers and welcome once more to Totally Fucked Up Friday. And I'll start by saying I have to talk quick. I'm a little bit late getting this up and someone might kill the internet before I'm done. So let's get out there. Yes, this week back onto which government is trying to fuck the internet hardest. We're back with the USA and going hand in hand with the horrible Protect IP Act, which I've mentioned before. There's now the Stop Online Piracy Act, which might as well be called Let's Fuck the Internet Completely Act. And some politicians with a cleaner mouth than me have called it the Kill the Internet Act, because it takes basically the one saving grace of the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, the DMCA, which is shit. But the one thing it said is, look, sites like, Google, YouTube, websites in general, can't be held responsible for what people put on their sites. So if they get told that someone's done something infringing, they have to react, but they can't police things in advance. That's the one saving grace of the DMCA, the safe harbour provisions. This attempts to do an end run around it, and he's basically saying sites are responsible for policing what users do, and can be punished if they don't. And it's all this horrible, vague, threatening language. And it talks about seizing domains. It talks about, cutting off the internet, all these things. Oh, and by the way, in case you think this is overblown, in the name of trademark protection, the US already has been seizing domains. So it isn't that big a reach to say if this isn't stopped, it will absolutely kill the internet as we know it. What's most fucked up to me is really our last best chance is not you and me getting pissed off because these politicians clearly don't care about us. They've been bought and paid for by the entertainment industry. We've just got to hope that companies like Google and Microsoft that stand to lose so much from something like this will buy their own politicians to go and fight it. That is how fucked up politics is. Speaking of fucked up in politics, the Occupy protests around the world, and the one that caught everyone's attention this week and had people sending me outraged messages was Occupy Oakland. I was following a lot of this on Twitter the night when it got really violent with the police firing tear gas and rubber bullets, the so-called non-lethal weapons. And what everyone's particularly angry about now is one of the protesters who was an Iraq War veteran, who was a member of a group called Veterans for Peace, got hit in the head apparently with the projectile from a tear gas, like grenade launcher, hit him in the head and critically injured him, and he's going under brain surgery. And yes, so people are more than a tad upset that someone who gave up service to his country then gets critically injured while he's being peaceful in a protest. Guys, if you don't need it spelled out anymore, it's basically no matter where you are in the world, you have the rights, essentially, the cops say you have up until a given point. If you need more evidence, I don't know what world you're living in. I want to go back to this because this happened a couple of days after I posted my videos of the Occupy Melbourne protest where the police fairly aggressively moved protesters on. But the key thing is the protesters, by and large, went along with the police order. So honestly, nothing too outrageous happened. But I was still pissed off. I don't like that sort of behaviour. The comments took the whole spectrum. They got pretty weird. I have to give comment prize to Drake Magnum, who, looking at what other people are saying, is like, oh, you call that tough? Cops are way worse where I come from. And yeah, they proved that in Oakland. But as he pointed out, a lot of the comments had the flavour of, hey, don't you complain about being sexually abused? My dad sexually abused me way more than yours did. People lose their perspective really easily, and yeah, it does get totally fucked up. One thing that can be fun for me when I'm looking up stories for TFU Friday is getting onto the weird or fucked up crimes with the weird or fucked up mugshots that go with it. So I'm going to run through a few quick ones that I found this week. Starting with this guy, he's only slightly weird and creepy looking. What he did was kind of pathetic, honestly. He was in a pub and ran out without paying for a sandwich he ordered, and that just makes him kind of sad and lame. And he compounded that because as he was running, he saw a getaway vehicle, a forklift that had the keys in it, and he thought that would make a getaway vehicle. In his defense, some of those can go slightly faster than walking pace. So if the only cop who was chasing him was a fat cop who couldn't find his car, he might have got away. Not really, because there's his mugshot. Now, I have to admit, tying in with the whole Halloween theme, I got a little bit interested when I saw a headline of a woman being arrested for DUI and she was wearing a slutty referee costume, you know, advertised as looking like this. I thought, DUI, slutty, she's gonna look good in her. No, not really, no. I've got to say, I could barely fap to that. So kids, boys, if you're having the same problem as me, just stick with it. Fap furiously. You'll get there. And this guy, not a child molester. Surprising, I know. What he was attracting the cops' attention by doing was barbecuing a raccoon. I assume some neighbours complained about that. When they went to see about him barbecuing the raccoon, turns out he's got a meth lab in his apartment. So, all you meth cookers out there, just a little tip from me. Don't attract attention like with dumb shit like barbecuing raccoons when you're cooking meth, because, you know, the meth stuff, the cops don't like. Oh, what am I? You're a meth cooker. You listen to advice. Moving on. And this guy, you can tell just looking at him, he exudes winner. What did he do? It's only drunk and disorderly, but what he did was call 911 and abuse them and swear at them and say, I need a fucking lift home, I can't find my home. So, hey, kids, guess what happens if you're drunk and call the emergency line and abuse them and say you need a ride? The cops give you one, and I believe he was charged with being totally fucking stupid. Which is as good a segue into any as the Toronto mayor, who people have called Mayor Griffin because he's a fat, ignorant lout everyone's equating with Peter Griffin from Family Guy. Apparently, when he gets cornered by comedians who want to spoof him, he calls 911, or whatever the equivalent is in Toronto. I think it actually is 911. And when they don't take him quite seriously, apparently he actually screams down the phone something along the lines of, you fucking bitches, don't you know who this is? I'm the fucking mayor! Stay classy, Toronto. Speaking of classy, I want to head quickly over to Sweden, where a Swede got photos of some drunken elk in his backyard. I've done a similar story on this. Apparently, the elk eat fermented apples off trees and get a bit drunk. Well, this one didn't get stuck in a tree. They ended up with three-way sex. Three-way elk sex in his backyard. There's like an older female in the middle, gets mounted by a younger male, and appears to be licking the rear of a younger. Three-way, what? Sweden? What? Three-way elk sex in your backyard? And he was shocked. I didn't think you could shock Swedes. I'd be shocked by animals having three-way sex in my backyard, but I'm not Swedish. What the hell, Sweden? Are your standards slipping? Oh, and speaking of animal sex, I couldn't let the week pass without this story that so many people had sent me. And really, thank you? No. Thanks. Now it's got the stage where, hey, animal sex, I'm going to send this to AngryAussie. No, thanks. Really. Okay, Zimbabwe. A man was arrested for bestiality, having sex with a donkey. Now, personally, I'd try and keep it really quiet and not attract more attention by saying something that might get repeated in media around the world. Not this guy. His excuse was, this was a human female prostitute when he started, but it transformed into a donkey. At least it was female, he's not a queer. I always have to throw that line in when people fuck animals. comes from growing up in the country. I'm sorry. But, of course, you know, the police might have said, why didn't you stop when she turned into a donkey? And this is where it progresses from the ridiculous to the sublime. He says, well, the truth is, I think I'm a donkey. I'm in love with her. I think that's what's going on here. I think what's going on here is a gross miscarriage of justice. He's been charged with bestiality. Clearly, if the donkey is really a human that's just assuming donkey form, and he's really a donkey that's just assuming human form, so you've got human turned into donkey, donkey turned into human. It's actually the donkey, which is really a human, who's really guilty of bestiality, and this guy is really a donkey. He's an innocent farm animal. It's a gross miscarriage of justice.